Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Tender. It is Monday, July 1st, 2024. Welcome, everybody. If you're new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Center logo, and subscribe. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to go through SPY on multiple time frames and then shoot around the horn QQQ, IWM, VIX, and possibly Bitcoin if we have time, because we have some Bitcoin plays that are starting to play out. So, by the way, if you want to see a lot of these videos and other people's videos, consider putting the speed at 1.25 or 1.5. Get all the information quick, because I'm trying to educate and I'm going through this with you. I don't do all this stuff beforehand. I try to work all of the things that I see out with you so you can educate yourself on my point of view, how I arrange things. So if you're in this video just to see where you think the market's going or something like that, then it doesn't matter how fast I talk so speed that up. All right. So we're going to go SPY on monthly time frame. We're at the 2000 top here, 2021 into 2022 correction there. And we're back at that top. So last month, we're starting off a new month here. Last month, we had this nice large candle. It's not a reversal style candle. That doesn't mean that we can't get like tweezer tops or something like that if this is some sort of top. But this next month, maybe we start to go a little bit higher, and I'll show you how that could happen. And then we get a reversal back underneath this bar as a monthly time frame. So that's a good 30 days out or so, and that will bring us into the time frame, because this is going to be very important. Time and price is very important. We're looking at the FOMC being a big catalyst for possibly even flipping, pivoting. This month, this coming up. So that would be a big point that a reversal will come from. The market can reverse before that happens. We just get a lower high from that. But so we'll keep an eye on this month's candle. So far, we're in the first day, so not a whole lot to look at there. But we are in a bullish posture. We have this consolidation, broke out from it. 8 EMA. The only thing, the momentum indicator is up. Our trend indicator is right at the breakout, the huge breakout point that I think we're going to test coming up here the next few months. So everything looks bullish. We're into resistance. So let's go to the weekly time frame. On this weekly time frame, we have two boards to look at. We have our traditional technical analysis. This is another look at that 2000 and 2021 top here. We're getting, extend that out a little bit. We're getting the reversal candles off of there. So clearly there's some supply. If this price action wants to go higher, we do have a channel here, a channel top. This is not necessarily a channel in particular because there's only one touch down low, but this trend line up here is very, very valid. Reversed off of it twice now, the past 2 weeks. So this could be a tweezer top in itself for a reversal. We'll see if we get some follow through. At minimum, I think we're at least looking for an 8 EMA here. We'll see, two scenarios that I'm looking at in the lower time frames. But, the rising trend line here, it has some areas it could touch again, all the way up to 560. 560 would be our next point that we're looking at. And where do I get that from? If the market, I repeat, if the market wants to go up there, we had our 2020 reversal here, our correction. You take the bottom of that correction here, you can see that candle bottom to the top here. That full length, we have our retracements. The retracements all the way up to 100. We had the 127.2 retracement, traded around it, got above, and now on the weekly time frame, our last target is the 560 area. So that's where I get that number from. If price gets to that level and we're into one of these time relationships, then we'll be looking for a major reversal at that point. So we've hit lower time frame targets and things like that. So we don't have to go. It's not a requirement to get up to that point, but maybe we get a pullback first and then head up there. So let's go down to the daily, see if we can work out some. And just keep in mind, later in July, around the 21st here and around the 29th, and then we have FOMC on the 31st. So those are some time signatures on the weekly time frame that we're looking at. And we try to match those on the lower time frames, meaning the daily. But first, we'll take a look at the traditional technical analysis, and we're filling out a bearish rising wedge. So, I'm thinking that we'll challenge a little bit lower in order to get to that top there. This is my way of thinking. In order to get there, we're too steep right now. We need to either move directly sideways and then get a pop up, or just get some more of a correction down and maybe test the trend line. So if I draw this in, here's kind of what we're looking for. Here's our two scenarios. Let me make this blue so we can decipher, dash, and even put a little arrow on it. Okay, first scenario would be test the bottom or move sideways. It doesn't matter which one that is. This is just showing that we're staying above the trend line, whether we go sideways or correct a little bit more, and then go to that last target at 560. Okay, the second scenario would be that we really start to break down here, and maybe we have a top in. Get some sort of back test and then head lower. Okay, and both those arrows, I'm not going to draw them in, would lead to the downside. So really coming up into later this year, we're really looking for some downside. But right now, the price action is showing us consolidations and strength. And wanting to get to that last target there, so about 560. It doesn't have to. We can break down. Once we break down from the wedge, then my trading psychology is going to change. It's going to be more bearish. I'm going to have alternate bullish scenarios, and I'll show you those as time goes by. But in the meantime, we're above the trend line, so my psychiatry is bullish that we're going to try to hit that target until we show otherwise. But either way, in a real short term, I have all these puts on looking for this correction in later date calls for individual stocks. So really just a dichotomy of trades. I have all these puts in the shorter term and these long-term calls in plays like PayPal and stuff like that. So if you are interested in, we're doing these videos intraday. If you want to get them intraday, please consider becoming a supporter. It's like 99 cents a month, and or you could just get these videos at 4 o'clock for free to the public. Now, going over to the other board, there's two ways that we're looking at. I have this ending diagonal. This is kind of that first way of getting that target up there. And notice this, it would just work out so perfect. I don't know if this is going to happen, but that would be a huge setup if price action from this move, it's creating an expanding megaphone, hits that target right in that time frame. Look, we're at the bottom there at 731. That would be FOMC. So whether that's we get the 22nd or the 29th, any of those time frames where I was showing you those price relationships to time, we get a correction, and right at the end of July, hit that up there. It just would complete this beautiful megaphone, and at that point, of getting here, my certainties would just really, really look to test in a fast mode down here to the bottom of this megaphone pattern. Another way to look at it is, and this one has our time signatures on here. So we have our move up here, and I'll zoom in a little bit better. I'm taking the arrow out because we already showed our scenarios. Now we're coming into some signatures here. We have time relationship with 7-1. That would be today. We have 7-8. And then you notice all this happening at the end of the month. So we have to see where price is when we get into these relationships. Are we just getting this little bounce here in 7-1, then we continue the downtrend for a correction? I think that's a likely scenario. I'll show you on the 65 minute. But where price ends up in this cluster here is going to be super important going to FOMC. So if price is lower going into there, then we'll be looking for some sort of bounce or higher trade. If we're already at our target here into that, then that was just the scenario I just showed you. And we'll be looking for a huge, huge put play shorts on the market. So let's go down to the 65. On the 65 minute, we have, again, our traditional technical analysis, filling out this bearish rising wedge. Got to the top of the wedge, even eked out a new high here. And I have marked down here sort of that time frame that I thought we were going to test the uptrend. So we still have a time signature going into there into about 7-3, about the third, a couple more days. And so maybe this is just a bounce today, and then we get 2 more down days going into tomorrow and the next day. This bounce could go a little bit higher. It's fairly shallow right now. So we'll see what happens going into. We have a lot of catalysts. So we have Powell tomorrow speaking in the morning. So that could be some sort of catalyst to get the down move. Going into later on in the week, we had some today too. I'm pulling it up here. Okay. Looking at the calendar, Powell tomorrow, and then a lot on Wednesday, ADP, PMI, ISM, all sorts of things. And then the employment situation on Friday. So, of course, the market will be closed on 4th of July. So here we go. We'll be looking for the test here. Perhaps we get that into Wednesday, and then we have Thursday off. We look for some upside going into the next few weeks or so. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I think that this was a 5-wave move down here that we completed into today. Got a brand new low. We're bouncing, so we're going to get some sort of doji here, and maybe a continuation for a zigzag for a 5-3-5 into some of our corrective area here. I think it's likely to test the box there, and we can draw a little bit steeper trend line. So you have this point here. I think we can use this. Yeah. So we'll use this trend line, the lighter one, from the bottom of this point, and we'll use that bottom point from here, from the beginning of June. And perhaps we have a move down to this line and excuse me, and hold here around the 540. And then we'll look for some higher prices after that. So consider this a zone anywhere from 540 to 535. Anywhere in this zone, price could hold. So don't be extremely bearish on these moves. We'll be scaling out of them as price goes down, and we'll be looking to see what happens at the trend lines, because if this major one starts to break down, then changing my whole psychology on how I trade. Now, looking into, I have the FOMC marked here. So if we fill out this, there's our target. If we get down here, if we get down to lower levels, it just seems more, I'm just going to say, pleasing to the eye that maybe we get some sort of ending diagonal or something like that. It just creeping up into FOMC and forming some sort of top up here. And then we'll be looking for a major correction. And that all changes if we break down from the wedge. Okay, let's change boards here. So this is our hourly sort of fib Elliott wave board. We're looking for this top could be in here, or we could have another entire move to higher prices up here. And this could be a wave 3, wave 4, and looking for wave 5. I don't have all the numbers in because I'm not focusing on the count itself. I'll leave that alone. Okay, so let's dig into some time frames here. So what's happening on this, we could get a deeper retracement. Looks like we're at about the 382, but I'm looking for price to go into the 50-60 retracement from this top here. So we'd get the initial move, we get a correction. It doesn't have to get all the way up there. Could be from right here, and then we're looking for some more downside, and I have it kind of highlighted here. That'd be a major move down here if we got to the 530, but it'd still be valid as a wave 4. But this is looking like a zigzag, and this 23.6 at the 537 would be right in our zone that we're looking for, right between the 540 and 535. So that's that would work out perfect. And this is the time signature right between, we have 7.3, which is the end of the box I was talking about, but that kind of goes out to 7.5. So it's we'll call it a time zone here, cluster. That could happen sometime this week that we get a bottom, and into the next few weeks going into FOMC, maybe we continue higher. So this looks impulsive. Looks like we get a correction and as impulsive move down there. You can also, this initial move, you can use your extension tool. So 100% retracement extension from that initial move. You have 2 points, the top, the bottom of this move, and then the retracement. So if we get to the 50 or 62, I'll say just project that it gets there. Then our 100%, we'll take out these extensions here. And then our 100% will be right in this zone, about 540. That's the top of the zone. And again, if we get to some of the little bit higher extensions from that wave A to C, the 123 is right there. And at the bottom of the zone is the 138. So all the way down to the 162, which is very possible for a C wave into all of this zone here. So I know that the zone could be larger, but I think it's more likely that we end up in this area. So I'll kind of highlight that as our bounce area to go higher. And that will go with the 200 moving average there. That will be the trend line that we'll be looking for, that whole zone into, just so you can get a visual again, right to this area. So I should really draw that box into, but I'm going to hold this here, see how we look into this time frame, see how that box played out. But you see it in this area, how it's a little bit different. The time frame's a little bit longer, and you get the shallowness of it too. If price just wants to go to this shallow move here. All right, I think that's what we got on SPY. How do I get these time relationships? You get these lows and highs, and you use the time ratio tool. So from low to high, for example, or low to low, low to high. Okay, and what this is kind of playing out as, I don't have the count here correctly, but if this is a 1 2 1 2, then we have 3 4 5, and then we have to get that second degree of 4, which is kind of happening right now, and then another wave 5. So that would be considering this a 1 2 1 2. I have this marked as an A, B, and then C ending here, or a C ending up there. It doesn't matter. That it's speculative. What I'm doing is just building structure for me to see if a move is complete, which this one, if this is an A, B, and then a 5-wave move for C, that says, hey, this wave could be complete here, and we're just we're making moves. I know we eked out a new high here, so I could move it over. But just giving a structure, and we're consolidating. So I do lean towards us getting a new high there. So, all right, that's all I have with that. Let's go to VIX. As for the VIX, we had a channel that we're kind of playing around, broke down, and we're coming back to that back test there. So we'll have to watch the VIX. We got our rejection off of here, so we're getting the bounce. The VIX is moving a lot more heavily to the downside than the market's getting a bounce. So I think this is just resetting. We'll make a higher low, and I think the VIX will be looking for some sort of move next. So I can probably make this more of a triangle at this point. And you could use some of the spikes here, but something like that. And we have a higher low here. So we'll be looking to see what price action does for the VIX in this triangle. So if this triangle plays out to the resolves to the upside, the market's continuing down. But if this is some sort of kind of wave 4 pattern triangle to break down and get to lower prices and even make a new low from way back here, then you know that the market is going for that all-time high scenario that we're talking about. So this will be a good gauge on that, this bottom trend line here. We'll consider this a triangle at this point. Okay, let's look at Qs real quick. On the Qs, we have the same kind of marker, same kind of price action happening, perhaps a zigzag. We have that time frame. We're getting towards the end of that, and on SPY we have till about the 5th on that. We'll see what happens here. Maybe we just get our bounce up to the 50-60% retracement, and then move down lower to test this trend line, and then looking for higher prices. IWM still in this really choppy zone. Still considering this a flag, so I continue to have calls. I added some calls on IWM and some individual stocks such as Square, looking for some upside, and this actually resolving to the upside. Maybe it starts to pull the market up to those all-time highs. We'll see if IWM participates at all. DIA really held together the market today, but in a sense it's just triangulating. So with this, again, if it resolves to the upside, we know that we're going to play it plays like Boeing. We were playing Boeing last week, the catch-up plays, because they've gone down so far, and as their strength in DIA, Boeing, for example, has held strong and has been a great trade for us. So it starts to break down from this triangle. We know that's going to drag on the market, and we'll see what the other indices do. If they all start to break down together, then you're going to have large moves to the downside. But I just see all of these kind of consolidating and then taking turns with rotation, helping the market stay up. And we'll just look at BTC real quick. So we have all of our trend lines clearly not in place because of the contract change. So you have to change all that, and I'm not going to do a bunch right now, but we're looking at a wedge. Looking at this playing out, you can look at this a couple different ways, but Right now, if this is the wedge, we'll see if this resolves. We're getting a higher low right now, and we're getting a little bit of strength today. But if we start to break out from this wedge in this resistance, this is a huge resistance zone. You see that price action can't get above it right now. But if this starts to resolve to the upside, and you can draw a triangle, you can kind of triangulate that. It's in an equilibrium. If it starts to break down from here, possibly continues lower, and this wedge is, really just a downtrend that price continues to go lower. It could fill out the wedge even more. We did get out of our plays when we broke down from here, but we entered back into plays. I saw some strength in the higher time frames. We're not going to go through all those, but if this starts to break out again, I think we have a minimum of retracement at 50-60. But I do think this resolves higher. We'll have to, monitor that. I'll do a full video later on if this starts to break out or so. That's what I got for you guys today. Consider becoming a member, supporter, hit the like button. We'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day. We'll probably do a video tomorrow.